Hello, Polaris family and friends. It is so good to virtually be with you all today. I wanted to just do a brief little introduction to something that I do on a regular basis to take care of myself. And so before I begin introducing what it is, I want to just start off by showing you this chart that I often do with students. In these uncertain times, it can be helpful to take a look at the things that are within our control. And so right now things feel a little bit uncertain. There are lots of questions. There's a lot of things that we don't know. But within that, there are still a lot of things that are within our control. And so this helps outline how we can kind of look at what the things that are out of our control and then the things that are within our control. So, for example, things that we can't control right now are the coronavirus, people getting sick. We don't know how long this is going to last. We can't control what our president decides and next steps he takes. We can't control other people's emotions and behavioral responses to everything. We can't control like the weather outside. So there's a lot of things that are out of our control. But separate from that, there are a lot of things that are within our control. So I like to focus on the things that I can control, and that helps me feel a little bit better and just more in control. So I can control how often I'm washing my hands. I can control how I'm practicing social distancing. I can control making sure to cover my mouth when I cough and when I sneeze. And I can control how much self-care that I practice, things that I do for myself. And so the thing I really wanted to focus on today was mindfulness. And this is a practice that I do every day to take care of myself and my emotions. And there's a lot of research around mindfulness and why it's helpful and why it's good. And I like mindfulness as a strategy, as a coping tool, because it's something that no matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what you have accessible to you, it's something that you can practice at any given time. And so I wanted to just introduce to you all what mindfulness is, so hopefully you can start to practice this at home. So mindfulness is bringing your attention and focus to the present moment. So focusing what is happening right now. And the thought behind that is that all the time our minds are racing and we're engaged in all these thoughts, and we're thinking a lot of like, what if, and what did I do wrong? And a lot of times these thoughts yield more uncomfortable or difficult to manage emotions. So for example, I have the past, the present, and the future up here. So here's some examples of my past thoughts that I've had recently. Did I wash my hands yesterday after I came in from outside? My throat was hurting yesterday. What does that mean? Here are some of my present thoughts. What's going on right now in this very moment? My family is all healthy. We are all feeling good. I am safe in my home. It's presently where I'm at. And then my future thoughts is, what if I get sick? When is this all going to end? How much longer do we have to do this for? And so the thought with mindfulness is that when we can focus on just the present, our thoughts and feelings become much more manageable. They're much easier to deal with. And so while it's not possible to be in the present all of the time, it is something that we can always take time out to do, even if it's for a few minutes every day. And so just wanted to share with you a couple of strategies that I use to practice mindfulness. And hopefully then you can kind of use some of these strategies at home as well. There are so many different ideas and ways that people practice mindfulness at home. So the first thing that is important with mindfulness is to learn the proper way to breathe. And so when we think about breathing, it's important to not just take deep breaths, but to be aware of how we are breathing. And so here are a few breathing exercises that can help you bring awareness to your breathing. So for my younger friends, it often is helpful to teach the flower candle strategy. And so basically how I would teach this to a younger friend is that they're going to hold their hands. They're going to pretend in one hand they're holding a flower, and one hand they're holding a candle. And so what we want to really teach with breathing is that we're breathing in through our nose and we're breathing out through our mouth. So we're going to first smell the flower and blow out the candle. Smell the flower, blow out the candle. Smell the flower, blow out the candle. And so that is practicing mindfulness is one way you can do it is just by sitting in a quiet space and just focusing on your breathing. And when your attention starts to wander to some of those thoughts in the future, like what's going to happen? How long will this last? You accept that that's your thought, but you try to bring yourself back to the present moment and back to the breathing and what the breathing feels like in your body. So I noticed when I was breathing in that my tummy was going out. And when I breathe out, my head almost feels a little bit dizzy in a good way. And so really bringing yourself to what it is that you're noticing in your body. Other ways that you can teach breathing, sometimes it helps for kids and adults to have a visual. So I like square breathing. With a square, you follow along. You breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Hold that breath. Out, 2, 3. Hold. Breathe in. And similar to that, there is 8 or infinity breathing, a sideways 8. So you breathe in, out. Or you can do it with a star. Breathing in. And so on, with each of the points being a place where you hold that breath. And so one way to practice mindfulness is just by taking deep breaths. And I would start with 5 deep breaths and just really trying to focus your thoughts on your breathing and what it feels like in your body in that moment. Another mindfulness exercise that I really like, and this is something that can be used when you might be feeling you're in a situation and all of a sudden you feel like kind of your emotions are taking over. This is a mindfulness grounding exercise, and this is a good way to bring yourself to the present moment. And so mindfulness is a lot about connecting with your senses. And so this is called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. And what it is you're just going to engage with your senses while bringing yourself to the present moment. So, for example, with the 5 things that you can see. So let's see. I can see this magnet. I can see this poster. I can see my really messy refrigerator in the back. I can see my dog. You can't see my dog right now. And I can see my husband's telescope behind the computer. So naming 5 things that I can see, and I'm going to focus on those 5 things without judgment. So I did something wrong when I said messy refrigerator in the background because I was placing judgment on my refrigerator. Then you'll move on to your next sense, which is touch. So I'm going to now name 4 things that I can touch. I can touch my hair. I can touch my shirt. I can touch my own hands. I can touch this easel. and I can touch the floor. That's 4 things that I can touch. So then I would move on to 3 things that I can hear. I can hear my daughter on her iPad. I can hear my husband upstairs. He's taking a phone call for work. And I can hear my refrigerator running. And so you have to be quiet and bring yourself back to the moment of the 3 things in this moment that I'm able to hear. So then, things that I can smell. Let's see. I can smell this marker. I can smell my hair. And then maybe one thing that I can taste. And right now, I just had a cup of coffee, so I can taste the coffee that is left over from in my mouth. And so, though that's a grounding exercise that you can do when your feelings and your thoughts start to feel overwhelming. And so that brings you to the present moment and makes things feel more manageable. And so I like to practice mindfulness during times that are things that I don't necessarily enjoy doing. So for example, I practice mindfulness when I'm doing the dishes. I pay attention to what each dish feels like. I feel the warm water on my hands. I smell the soap that is coming. And I really connect with what it is, my 5 senses that I'm experiencing in that moment. If you've ever watched a dog before, if you've ever seen a dog in action, dogs are very mindful. Their noses are constantly twitching. They are really paying attention to the present moment. And so I encourage you all to give one of the mindfulness strategies that I introduced to you today a try. And taking just even if it's 2 minutes every day. 1 second, Eddie. Even if it's just 2 minutes every day, I encourage you to practice the mindfulness. I look forward to introducing more mindfulness with you all, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I miss you all. Bye-bye.